A Starstruck Podcast.
I'm a warrior.
Welcome to A Starstruck Podcast, where resilience meets reality, and every setback sparks a comeback.
When I jumped, my kneecap literally broke in half.
Ended up finding out, tore my ACL.
I tear my ACL at my highest point up to this point.
I took a wrong step, hurt my knee.
My ankle was turned the complete wrong direction.
Because I have Tourette syndrome.
That season propelled me to being first-round draft pick.
Our podcast dives deep into the untold stories of athletes who've battled career-threatening injuries, adversity, addiction.
The alcohol at the time wasn't helping my rehab process.
What if this is happening because it's helping me further down the line, as you explained? That perspective shift really helped me a lot.
Depression, ego, and financial struggle.
Having a support system, that was huge for me.
No, man, I've come too far to let this be my story.
Always work hard, always prepare, and you never know when it's going to be your time to shine.
Got at 10 o'clock at night, all right, I'm there.
When Tamika Catchings went down with an Achilles tendon injury last season, Carlos Knox played a major role in her rehabilitation.
Having nurse support, and then, of course, having you.
And came out stronger. A Starstruck Podcast, hosted by Carlos Knox. A Starstruck Podcast, back at it. Today I want to introduce one of my good friends, Jonathan Bender. Straight out of the trenches. Everybody know him as one of the best NBA player, young prospects to come out of high school. This guy was Mr. Basketball USA 1999. He was a first-team All-American, McDonald's All-American MVP. And he was selected number 5 in the NBA draft to the Toronto Raptors, which later traded him to the Indiana Pacers. Yeah. Just giving him his flowers while we're here, and just congratulating you on a great career, Mr. Jonathan Bender. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how's everything these days, man? Where you at? What you doing? Give us something good.
I'm in Houston, man. Working out. It's hot. And, just Southern boy, man.
Yeah.
Down here in the south. Chilling.
Are you doing any training, anything to do with basketball at all? Not really?
No, man. No. I get in and take a few shots every now and again, but most, I just keep my body up. Those knees, man, you got to do what you got to do from that perspective. So I always love training, so I just train, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I train like I'm about to do something, and that's just, I think that's how I'm going to be from here on out.
You know what? It's just such a pleasure, to be an athlete in your life, because that's something that you just never lose. You want to always work out. You want to always eat right, and, just be in that space, because it teaches you that at a high level,
Yeah, competitive. We're competitive, and you should be competitive at everything, right? So the whole life thing and keeping your body up, how long can you look the same? That's one of my things. Like when I come across people I haven't seen in a minute, I'm addicted to, man, you look the same, or you look good. You always want that, you know what I mean? And for myself, I want to look good, so as you get older, things change. Them calories don't burn as fast as they used to. So got to keep it going, bro.
Absolutely. So, Jay, tell us, just to start off, man, I know you were superb at the game. Basketball was everything, and it took you on a great journey. But where did it all start with you, man? Where did it all start for you?
At home, just like everybody else, you got your hood, or whatever you want to call it, where we grow up, friends, buddies, everybody on the court, and it's one thing that we played: ball, kickball, football, basketball, all day long, right? And competitive at everything. So it started at home, and obviously you get in school and things get a little bit more organized, and some of your buddies go into ball, and you start looking at different things and seeing what your skill set at, and coaches are coming up to you saying, hey, you should do this and you should do that, sort of recognizing your skill. So it was always just a neighborhood thing like everybody else. and got into junior high playing, and then up into high school, and kind of had the growth spurt. Kind of went from there, So yeah, similar story.
Yes.
Everybody else going and being kind of guided in that direction once someone sees the talent there, from the kid in the neighborhood. So,
what junior high school did you go to?
So I'm from Picayune, Mississippi. That's spelled Picayune, right?
Okay.
In between Slidell and Hattiesburg. If anybody who knows where that route is, up 59. Small town, one junior high, one high school.
Okay.
Right? That's it. So everybody went to the same junior high, same high school. Oh, yeah. So long story short, Picayune Junior High.
Okay. Picayune. Okay. So then the high school has the same name?
Same name.
Okay. Okay, right. Cool. So tell me this, I know going from junior high, going to high school, when did you first realize that this journey could take you to the NBA? You know what I mean? Because I know you came out of high school to go to the NBA, but when did you really start getting that feel? I heard you mention your growth spurt.
Yeah. Had this pretty big growth spurt around ninth grade. I went from about 6'2" to about 6'8", almost 6'9", like in a year, bro. It was crazy, like 6 inches over a summer, like unrecognizable type of height difference, right? And still could not dunk the ball. It's amazing how you look when you grow that fast and athleticism hasn't caught up and you're just out there looking goofy. But I was playing in the ninth grade and stuff, and finally starting to get my rhythm. And then I had a guy, Thad, which ended up being my agent too. Came down from New Orleans, recruiting for an AAU team called the Jazz, right? Okay. That was the same team that we recruited Chris Duhon and Mo Williams from Jackson, Mississippi. All of those guys. Greedy Daniels from New Orleans. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Dog. And, he recruited me and wanted to take me to Vegas and all these different spots. I never left Picayune before, Mississippi. I'm like, I don't even know what I need to go there. You know what I needed? $20, $40. I don't know what it is.
Right.
I really didn't want to go. I wanted to hang with my friends around the neighborhood. It's what we did in the summer. My mother sort of pushed me to go, and ended up going and going to these different places, going in Vegas, going and playing in the pump and run out there with the pump guys, and going to these different tournaments and starting to play against other guys outside of my neighborhood, and seeing how I measured up and holding my own, and kind of went from there. Started a relationship with Thad, and it came to a point to where, my skills were picking up and people were seeing me, and then, they start floating around the sort of, he could, if he wanted to, make that jump. And I think Thad kind of laid that out to me, like, man, you have the potential if you want to, if you really want to dig in. And from there, I was shown what to do, kind of given, hey, I needed to move over to a bigger city, which was New Orleans, which, had some NBA athletes over there. So I would go over there. I remember working out with Marcus Camby and some of those guys that were working out with Mackie Shieldstone. And just year by year, just training and working with my mind set on the possibility of doing that. Right. Year by year, start seeing NBA coaches, scouts coming to the games. And from there, I'm like, yo, this is a real possibility, right? Still green, not really knowing much about too much of anything, but I knew if I was going to do it, I was going to do it to get to the mountaintop of it, and I wanted to get there as quickly as possible. Went from there, started training real hard, going out, working out with Mackie out there in New Orleans. I don't know if you know of Mackie Shieldstone.
I do know Mackie, yes, personally.
That dog beast, man. he was the first guy that showed me what in shape meant. And I remember getting out there and we were jogging. He wanted to see how far I can jog at a slow pace and where my heart rate would go. I didn't know anything about heart rates. And I watched my heart rate literally explode up to 180, somewhere around in there. And he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and he's like, I'm barely scrubbing 115. And you think you're going to be a professional athlete like that? You can't even beat me. And this dude here on another level. Right? Learned a lot of stuff from him. And just worked my way up. You know, ended up being the top guy in Mississippi, then one of the top in the nation, obviously, and then got picked for McDonald's All-American. At that point, I'm like, I'm licking my chops.
Yeah.
I know when I go in here, I ain't passing nothing. Letting everything rock.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's time to showcase.
Okay. And you're 6'9"? You're 6'9" at this time?
About 6'10".
Yeah, 6'10".
Around there. So at that point, I'm shooting the rock with confidence. You know, on my team, I'm playing almost every position, right? So it wasn't just a post. I'm moving around, I'm shooting, I'm real agile. And I got in there and I was like, it's time. Every time they put me, when I touch the rock, if I ain't got to pass, I ain't passing. It's going to be in the bucket.
Absolutely.
Right? I got to show versatile against all the best. And that's what I set out to do. I didn't know that I was going to break Jordan's record or whatnot. I think I still have that record to this day.
And what is that? What record is that?
31.
31.
Yeah, and a half. 31 and a half. So I got that done. And I think once that happened, that's when the next day was literally bonkers. Like I was really on the radar, talking top 10 at that point.
Hold on, I got to stop you on this. What did you finish with? 31 at the half? What you finished with?
31.
Oh, you finished?
In McDonald's, you only play half.
You only play half.
Play quarter, then everybody got to play.
Yeah, right? yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. So ended up with 31 on those last free throws. And after that, I had a little McDonald's deal or whatever. So they had me in the commercials. And from there, it was like, going to training with different teams. I went and did a little tryout with it. Well, not tryout, but a little workout for the Lakers. I remember doing that. Dude shut it down in like 5 minutes.
What did he say? No, this is our guy.
The logo. Jerry West. Shut it down 5 minutes. I can tell what it looked like. Shut it down. That's enough.
That's big time. That is big time.
Did my thing in Toronto. And the word just got out, man, and it was crazy. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So that's sort of how everything started. Then, of course, leading into the draft from there.
So what was the situation with the Toronto pick? I mean, I know they picked you and then they traded you. I think was it Antonio Davis in that?
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen before.
Okay.
I mean, it was literally, I think the Clippers was going to take me like at either 1 or 2 or something like that. And there was an argument going on with my agent, Aaron Teller. And those guys, I don't think they wanted me over there. My agent didn't think it was a good idea to go over there as young as I was.
Okay, that makes sense.
And all of that. So I remember them telling me it's going to be Indiana. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. I was at home during the draft. I didn't go, you know.
Wow.
And that's what happened. 5th pick. They made the trade. That was it.
Right. So let's go back to this part because it's very I don't know. It's so good to be on this platform and the youngsters that's watching this. I like to always give them jewels and nuggets, you know. One of the things that you talk about that's serious for us is the jump. Like you talk junior high, you went high school, and now you're in the league. Let's talk about your discipline and your mentality. I mean, obviously, it took you some time to develop it as a youngster, but once you got on that page, what did your discipline and your mentality look like?
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like for me, it was like there's always somebody out there working. That's how you kind of think about it. It's like, have I maxed my day out? And internally, if you max it out or not. If you put up enough shots. If you ran enough, if you did enough cardio, if you did enough training, all of this stuff. So my day would literally, and this may help, my day in high school would literally be go to school, practice after school. After practice, drive to New Orleans through traffic. It's at least an hour and a half. I drive to Mackey, work out with Mackey, 2 hours. Then hoop after I work out with Mackey, go through a workout on the court, drive back home. I'm home maybe 10 o'clock, do my homework. Then I had this thing where, I would take baths, like soap baths. I'd be so tired. So I would run my tub, and I had a circle around, around my home was like a circle. I can go around a circle street and all the way back to my home. So while that water was running, I used to jet out and sprint my block to try to get back before my tub water ran over, basically, right? It was just a thing that I did, whether it rained, whatever, cold, whatever it was. I think doing stuff to give you an extra edge to where you almost want to piss yourself off. What happened to that type of training where you really want to piss yourself off? When you get on the court, it's like, I know this person didn't do what I did, and they got to pay for it.
Absolutely.
It's that type where, okay, who got to pay for all this stuff? Why am I doing all this? Okay, for this guy, I know now I got to take it out on you, I don't care who you are, So it was that sort of mentality. And when you talk about discipline, it's just doing everything that's hard, right? Showing up and getting it done anyway when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
And people is like, practice is what it is, but really your personal practice should be outside of organized practice. That's when you really get it in, right? That's when you really start to, sharpen your skill or whatnot. So, discipline is a huge part of it, and doing things in the dark, when you're by yourself.
Absolutely.
Nowadays, shit, man, you got the internet. You can go and literally YouTube everything, right?
Everything.
You want to see anybody's game or learn anything, you don't need a trainer. You just go. You can learn it. Obviously, you need somebody to kind of help you from that standpoint. But if you want to know how to practice, how to, how many shots you need to put up, you can go study anybody with the internet, man.
And that's true. That's true. It's funny that you say that, because a lot of kids, they get it, but they still are in the realm of, if I'm not with a trainer every day, I don't feel that I'm getting better. Well, see, in our era, it was different, man. Like, you had to hoop a lot. You had to play a lot and get the feel for the game. Getting up and down the floor, does my move work against this person? And it's just good to share that information with youngsters these days, because it's a total different ball game.
Yeah, I don't even know, man. I haven't been in it, but I hear it's strange.
Yes.
It's very strange. Like, when I was coming up, we try to find the run. You go to the next city and find the run. Coming in here to do what we do. Or, who is that dude they say like that? Okay, let's go find it.
Let's go get him. Yes.
We're going on his turf, whatever. Is that type of time. And you went out there and you went at it. You went to win. You know what I mean? And iron sharpens iron. Find the guy that's gonna kick your ass. You go find him, and you train with that guy. You know what I mean? One that's better. Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
Nowadays with this NIL stuff, it's just, I think everything has been just saturated.
Yes.
Watered down.
100%, man.
Everybody's cool and friends, and everybody's going to try to get a deal in college now.
Yes. That's so true. And see, I coach in college now at Notre Dame. So it is definitely, it's just in the water. It's just a different ball game. It is.
Tell me, what's so different nowadays? Like in the last 5-7 years, what has changed so much there. Outside of this portal thing, everybody, if you scream at them, they jump in the portal, right?
Exactly.
So how do you coach? How can you coach? Because I remember in high school, we used to, man, our coach, dude, I love him to death because he prepared my whole team. He prepared me for the NBA, bro. I never trained that hard in my life. In my hometown, the stuff we had to do. When I got to the league, bro, and I wasn't used to jogging to get water. We had to sprint. So when I saw guys walking to get water, like out of the layup line, I'm like, we finna run. I'm like, no, you got to get water. You need water.
Right.
Like, what? Just that simple thing like that. But again, what difference? What's the biggest difference that you're seeing on the college scene from these guys?
So this is going to be interesting to you because, you came from the same school that I came from, basically. So it's like now relationships were not as important. Coach and player relationships were not as important as they are now. Like when you're coaching now, you have to definitely have a personal relationship with the person so that they can understand and handle where you're coming from as a coach. Now, when you use the word weird, you use that word because it's so foreign to us. Like that wasn't first. It wasn't that it was obsolete. It was just, it wasn't a thing. Like that was secondary or even third in line. You're going to work your tail off. You are going to play against the best and you're going to give me maximum effort at all times. We'll see. Now you have to make sure a kid is on your page before you're able to just go right at them. It's almost like having children, that you parent different. You know what I mean? And I mean, I hate to say it. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that the way things have changed is definitely in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how do you know? Okay, there's so many questions because you can have a team one day and have no team the next day. Right? I mean, these guys jump up out of there. Do they have to give you an update that they're doing this, or they do it and then come and say, "Hey, I'm out"?
Both.
How does that work?
I mean,
like you can just wake up the next day and dude gone, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 players out of there.
Absolutely.
And you're like, okay, you're stuck. How does the scouting work around that? Like, how are you? How does that work, man? That's crazy.
I know. The last thing you said is true. It's crazy. I mean, because I wish I had the answer, and I'm going to tell you something that's real. If someone tells you, if they look you in the eye and say, JB, this is the answer, they are a bold-faced lie. No one has the answer right now. In the climate of college basketball right now, it's just so difficult to say because, hey, I can have Jonathan Bender that plays 38 minutes a game, average 28 points a game, and I don't only have to worry about him leaving school because of the way I'm coaching him or what our team looks like. I have to worry about what's real. And what's real is people are lurking around you. Mm-hmm. They're lurking to give you more money than I am.
So it's a market. It's a market now.
Absolutely.
If I'm averaging 30.
Yes.
I'm averaging 25. I'm looking at the guy over here who's averaging 20 but getting paid X.
There you
go. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So the guys come back in. Do guys come back in and renegotiate? And are they coming with that type of time?
Hey, to be honest, yes, because now everybody is represented. And to be honest, it's just like the NBA now. It's
so they have agents in college right now.
Absolutely, yes. NIL agents. Agents.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what happens. Like when people come in to negotiate their deal from an agent standpoint, it's almost like the NBA standards. So you know about this. If you're averaging 12 to 15 points, 6 to 8 rebounds, you fall in a tier. Like your agent can go in and say, I don't care if you like my man or not. I don't care about that. My man averages 12 to 15, 7 to 9 rebounds. So he need $14 million a year, period, point blank. And you can't really argue it because the statistics are real, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, that's just weird to me, bro.
Yes.
I don't think that's weird to me. I think it's good for the players. I always think it's great for the players, from you should get paid.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that going to college in exchange for a education that you don't even have time to really focus on, right, is not worth the talent, and because your talent is your product. Okay, so bringing that product to the table and licensing it, right, in any other industry that's worth money, right? So, but what I don't agree with is the rules and sort of the standard around it. There needs to be some tightening up there.
Of course.
Right? On both sides. So is it going to come to a point where, okay, you can't just leave, but I can trade you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
so
of course.
it's
I mean, what do you think about contracts? Like, contracts is the answer. That's one of them.
I like the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I like the contracts, but we also need the team to have the power to trade you.
True.
If people do it that way,
yeah.
I mean, if I got to worry about you getting up out of here, right? Why can't I? You handle it like the pro teams right now anyway.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Go all the way pro, make it semi-pro or whatever. Right now it's just wild, wild west, right?
It is definitely that. That is.
I was looking at YouTube. I saw in Texas, up there in Austin, right? I saw, man, they had these guys coming up and they were walking into this big building. On both sides, they had 4 Lamborghinis on one side, 4 on the other side, all doors open, joints crunk up, making noise, and these guys walking through. I'm like, man, what is this? Bro, this is how y'all recruiting now with Lambos? Like, these cats, you gonna get these cats a Lambo?
Man, we couldn't get a cheeseburger. You remember?
But think about it. You couldn't, bro. It was a problem if you got a handshake.
Exactly.
Trying to get food, you can't get $20. It's a problem.
Yes.
And you done had guys get in trouble for taking $100.
Oh my God.
$10. Stupid stuff, right? And now you're doing all of this. So
yeah, man. Hey, you know what? We can talk for hours about that because it's so different now, man. It's so different. It is.
You do college reparations, right?
Yeah.
Is that what Jim Rose said?
Man, listen to me. I wish I could get them. If I could get them, woof. Yeah, it would be good. But 4 years.
Also, last point on that. I know you in the college system. And if it's this much money that's being handed out, and I ain't think about the football team. If it's this much money that's been handed out, I can't even imagine how much has accumulated over the years past.
Like I said, man, we can talk about that forever. But this is what I want to talk to you about too. Okay, so getting to the league, once you got to the NBA, the title of this podcast is a Starstruck podcast. And it doesn't mean I'm a starstruck by something. It's a star being struck by tragedy, by injury, by, mental health issues or whatever. Once you got to the league and it's time to play, I watched you a lot, man. I did. I watched you a lot. I watched that team. I was with that team the year before you came. So Reggie, Mully, all of them were my guys, man, that I love a lot. But just watching you as the youngster on the team, your demeanor and your talent level, it was just so. I mean, your confidence and your abilities were just through the roof. Like everybody knew that you were that next guy. They really did. But what I want to talk about as far as a star being struck is I know you experienced some injuries and, you know, in different areas. And I know your knees were, well, I'll let you talk about it. But I just, you know, this is motivated by my story. And my story was I tore my ACL and it didn't allow me to become have the NBA career that I was capable of having.
Gotcha.
You know, so
Gotcha. No, I get it. But the flip side of that is got the podcast now, but finna do some big things. So you are cashing in on that injury,
absolutely,
which is cool. You know, so it's not you know in vain. Yeah, I mean, first of all, getting to the Pacers is a key thing that you said that everybody knew I was the guy. Everybody with me, right? I knew I was talented, but you know, it's like we don't want to pump him up so much, or we don't want to give him anything, right? When I got to the team, it was sort of a little bit of a cold, right? You know how you can feel it, especially with them trading one of their vets for this young kid and stuff like that.
Of course.
And I get to the team, and you know, it's just Reggie was super cool. Like I went out to Malibu, did some training with Reggie and all of that stuff. But you know, I went through a period where I was, you know, playing a little bit, not playing, playing a little bit, not playing. And I think they got into a situation where they really didn't know where to put 7 foot, 6'11", 7 foot, damn near, shooting the ball. Okay, super athletic. Where we supposed to play in that? Right?
You're right.
I remember being in, you know, we went to Summer League, and they had me at point guard, right? In Summer League, running point guard, right? And next thing you know, I'm at the 4 position. Then I'm over here. It's just like never really knowing where to set me down at, I would say, during that time. You know, but when I did play, it was fairly simple. Some of the things I was doing, I was able to do out there. It was fun when I did play. There are a lot of politics when it comes down to the NBA game, I think as well. But to talk about what we're here for, I had some issues with my knees going into my, 4th year, somewhere around in there. And it stemmed from my growth spurt. Okay. My knees would always swell and I would always have to get them drained. It became a normal way of life. I thought it was normal. That's how many times I had my knees drained. Early on, and continuous sort of through early parts of the league as well.
Okay.
And I remember coming in training camp and saw Doc, and they did some, you know, check me out, did my x-rays. They came to me like, man, bro, listen, it's not good.
Right.
You're headed down a terrible path. Listen, you're either going to have surgery now, or you're going to break down in sometime here soon, and you're going to be forced to have it. Okay. So it was supposed to be just a scope, right? Because with my knees, I grew so fast. And what I didn't realize until later on that I wasn't supposed to do strenuous activity when you're growing that fast. Who's supposed to know that? How are you supposed to know? First of all, how do I know that I'm growing this fast? Right. And then how do you know you're supposed to? Nobody knows that. Country boy, small town, whatever. But obviously through that growth of growing that fast and doing all of that training and stuff, I just started destroying some, you know, a bunch of cartilage early. Right. So Doc goes in there, scrapes, you know, pulls out a bunch of bone and shaves down a bunch of stuff, right? And it's supposed to be just something simple. Well, man, I get back into rehab and try to get back on the court, and 90 degree is not happening. You know, and that's where I live, you know, super athletic. I'm used to getting low. I'm used to chasing those guards. I gotta guard Reggie every day.
Right.
I guard the 2 guard, so I'm 7 foot. I gotta sit. I'm almost sitting in the chair. That's how low I am. That angle wasn't happening. Right. And that became a real Achilles heel for me, and not being able to predict stabbing pain. That's a whole nother thing, right? So it's a difference when you're just hurting and you're like, okay, I'm gonna just push through it. But when you hit a certain angle and that joke, like that sharp knife, over and over, man, that weighs on this, right?
Ooh, yes, yes.
You know, trying to cut through that, man, it was just hell. And the Pacers brought in Dan Dyrick. Got to work with Larry, and I was flying back and forth to Boston, staying up there weeks at a time. So I would be away from the team for like 5 to 7 days, come back, you know, be around for 2 weeks, go back for a week. Right? So it was just like disconnected, right? Just disconnected. And I would have these splurges where I would get in and I would be okay. And I would have a nice little showing. I'll get in the game, 2 or 3 games, things go right back downhill. So it became not only a physical thing, but a mental thing. And this went on for 2 years, man. And Doc was just like, man, listen, it may be best just to go ahead and, you know, wrap it up, bro.
Wow. And you were how old? How old at this time? 25?
25.
25.
Yeah. So at that time I was 25. So, you know, I kind of stepped away from that point.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so that's how it went.
So during that time, just mentally, because I hear you, man. I hear you talking about, you know, what basketball meant to you. It wasn't everything, obviously, like just listening to you.
And definitely when I was hurt, it wasn't everything.
Right.
It became less and less and less because I started really paying attention. And, you know, as a young kid from Mississippi, you think that the NBA is the biggest thing in the world.
Yes. Yes.
You start being exposed. You start looking at other companies. You're like, okay, well, this company this little kid started a couple of years ago is bigger than the NBA right now, revenue-wise. You start looking at little stuff, and you start to realize that you're a talent, you're a product, and you have worked and worked and worked and built this product, and you've licensed it to this team and to this league, and you're just attached to it. Problem is, once you're done, it's done. And what are you going to do? Right. So my thing became what next? What's next type of thing. That's where my mindset went, and the game became smaller and smaller to me because now I'm competing with myself. What's the next thing for me? You know what I mean? That doesn't have a shelf life, right? It doesn't depend on a hurt knee, right? Yeah. So that's where my mind went. That's where my studies and my focus started went as well.
That's beautiful, man. It really is, because a lot of people cannot answer that question like that. So my question along with that is, did someone help you with that? Did you have that mentality solely on your own, or did you have a mentor, your mom, your dad? Like, who helped you get to that spot, or was it experience itself?
It's experience. And I think it stems from my younger days, because I hate to say it, my cousins were, you know, some of the Mississippi's biggest, you know,
I got you.
So you see entrepreneurship at a young age, not pushing the right product, but you see the sort of freedom they had and all of that, right? Again, wrong product, wrong mindset, right hustle.
Right.
So I remember seeing the owner, I think it was Herb or Mill, I can't remember which one it was. And we'll come to the games, and didn't really pay him any attention. Only seen him several times. But when I was hurt, it was like he was glowing. It was like I really had eyes on him. And I was like, this dude owns this team. This kid, he's killing it, right? And I did some research on him and found out that, you know, what he really did as far as the malls and all that stuff. And when I started going to malls, I see Simon on all the malls. I'm like, what the hell? And the development companies and all of this, and how the team was more like a pool table. It was more like just an ornament to them, right? how their contracts work with the city, all of that stuff. And I'm like, man, I started feeling this small, bro. I started feeling this small, and that's when my mind shifted. I said, I need to know what he knows.
Yes.
Right? I need to know what he knows. But, also there comes a point where you can't just jump into that, because that's not about money. That dude, he had to pay a price, just like I paid a price to get to the NBA.
Of course.
He paid a price to get to where he is. So I guess just shifting over into that lane of thinking and trying to figure out what it is, right? Where are you going to go? What are you going to shape shift into, right? What are you going to sort of redefine yourself as? I knew I was going to try the game one more time, eventually, possibly, right? But that's where my mind kind of shifts, and, just submerging in some books and just looking into that side of things, right? I really started keeping my eye on those guys. It wasn't really about beating a guy on the court no more. That became my competition.
That's so important.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that make a lot of sense. And it's so important, like I said, to share that, with the world, like life after basketball. It's just interesting to hear your take, because yours was more life during basketball. But
I don't even like life after basketball.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Because if you take an entrepreneur and he creates a company, he creates a product, service, license something, and he licenses it. He moves over and he creates something else and licenses it. It wasn't life after he licensed that. Exactly. He just licensed it. He licensed something else and he licensed something else. I think for us, we're stuck because we only work on the product that is attached to us. And if we're not there, that product isn't there, right? So I guess if we learn to create a service or a product or something else along with our talent, right, and learn that whole game, like I love what all guys were doing, man. Man, I love that, bro. I hate. He was finna mess up some stuff, but that's what I love to see, that, because if you get there, game over, done deal, right? And it's all numbers. It's all numbers, bro.
When you say you hate what he was about, no, you say he was about to mess something up. What you talking about, Dad? Pop?
Yeah, talking about the balls, the dad. Yeah, with the shoe game, he was about to mess it up, bro. He was headed down that was the right path right there. That was the right path, and that's what I'm talking about, right? Because having something outside of the game, well, not really outside of the game, just having something else, because you're understanding, first of all, it's a business and you're a product. If you have that mindset and study in that way, then you can start developing other things. The problem is the game doesn't allow you to operate like a product, because you can't sign as an LLC or corporation. So you come in already being taxed like the janitor. The tax is the highest tax rate on the planet as an employee, right? Yeah. So you can't even operate to learn business, even though you're in a business. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. You're a business, but you can't operate like a business. I'm licensing my talent to said company, said team, and they can run it as a business. Actually, they can probably most likely write me off, but I can't operate on my end like a business. How does that work?
Yeah, that's make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Right. That's true, man. So let me ask this. Did you, like, during that time, did you ever experience any form of depression?
I don't know. I don't think I had time to.
Really?
I'm not going to say that. I think I did at some point. And when you say depression, this whole mental thing, bro, I don't ever want to push something to the side that people deal with personally.
Yeah, right? For sure.
But I guess where I'm from, you just didn't have time for it. You got to figure it out. It's time for that, solution minded. I don't have time to woe is me into the problem and think about it and let's talk about it. Nah, let's move. What's next? Let's do it. You know, I'm that type of guy. I always have to move to the next thing. I have to learn the next thing. I got to figure out how I'm gonna get here, how I'm gonna do this. So while I'm doing that, I don't have time. Right now, if you want to call that being depressed, call it being depressed. But you know, that's where I am with it.
Of course. And see, depression. No, you can't put those two in the same category. Not that, because what you're speaking of is the resilient part, and you're reaching that resilient point in your mind and your heart before you even touch the actual thing that's going on. Like, you're prepared before that even happens. So,
what is depression?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And can you have faith and depression and anxiety at the same time? Can they even exist in the same space?
Right.
Because I'm a faith guy.
Mm-hmm.
So was that supposed to happen to me? Sure it is. Yeah. I'm a word guy. That's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is going to be better. So we're going to soak right here. We're on to the next thing. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
That's real. I talk to my mother about that all the time. And my wife, actually. We talk about, you know, you can't be super spiritual or super faithful, and then when crisis hit,
scared to death. Man.
Scared to death.
Come on. Didn't he bring the crisis?
Exactly.
Right. So you man, what are we doing?
JB, you know what's the funniest part is when you bring that to light, like when it's happening and you say that to somebody, they just freeze because they know it's dead wrong. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the crisis is here. So it's like, nah, let me go on and talk you off this ledge because it don't make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't.
You're the big talker, but when the test comes, what's going to happen?
Absolutely. And see, we learned that in the game too, as you play. And ball, like, talk is cheap, bro. Talk is cheap. When it's time to guard me and slap the floor and say, okay, I gotta sit on this guy that average 25, 30. Okay.
And that's one thing for me when it comes down to that part too of mental health. Since we're talking just dabbing just a little bit in that.
Mm-hmm.
In basketball, for instance, in training, we get the chance to correct right then. If I miss a shot, guess what? Next shot going up in a couple seconds. I get a chance to correct over and over and over. I do something wrong, I get a chance to come back and correct.
Mm-hmm.
The men that pushed us and didn't let us get away with anything, that really, really dug in and got on your behind and was like, yo, you know, either you're going to deal with this or get out type of thing. And you stuck in there and you ran through that wall and you did things you didn't know you was able and capable of doing. You had to go to a certain space for that.
Absolutely.
And I think those type of guys, us, when it comes down to problems, it's the same thing. It's just, yo, I'm a fixer. Let's go.
That's real. That is good. So some of the entrepreneurship that you have been involved in, and you know, some of the things that you're doing, I mean, I can tell that fuels you, that fuels your soul. And I'm the same way, man. I was one of those that, you know, again, with me being derailed, I had to come up with different ways that I was going to consistently be, I don't know, man, a consistent big dreamer. Like, I didn't want to not be in the NBA or not play exactly the length of time that I wanted to or for the amount of money and then just be a regular, I work at Kroger's type. I mean, no offense.
It don't work like that. It don't work like that. You can't.
Your
right?
mind isn't wired like that.
You talking about depression now that's a possibility. Unless you got something coming down the horizon and you just doing this to that. Oh man. No, we ain't built like that.
No, bro.
That's a whole different game right there, bro.
Yeah, so tell me, what's up? Like, what did you get into? Was it something that sparked your interest and you really got it off the ground? What happened?
Yeah, so for me, let's start with the mental part. For me, my thing was twofold. When I exited the league, my first thing was I got to fix my own problem. Opportunity for a solution. I'm very creative. I'm creative with some of the best out there, right? So my thing was first to come up with something that I could help myself rehab with.
Okay.
Right. And that took me a couple minutes. And I put that together, and it looked like crap, but it worked.
Right.
That coupled with the just burning desire to figure out how guys were getting paid guaranteed contracts. I don't understand it. I'm a kid that bothers me. Projections bothered me because you're telling me what you're going to do next year. How do you know this? That is a problem for me. The fact I looked at that like that's the Wizard of Oz. That's the wizard behind the curtain. An individual that can say, we're going to do X this year. We're going to do X next year. We're going to do X the next year and actually do it, right? And do it so much and so well to the point that I can take all these guys on this team and guarantee contracts upward of $100 million. My mind was shot. I'm like, I need to know that. Whatever that is, I don't care how small of it I need to know that part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I want to control my own destiny. That's my own thing. I want to control my own destiny. So I was able to develop a device and use that on myself, obviously, and did a bunch of groundwork. When I say groundwork, I mean groundwork. I'm an in the dirt cat. So going out and going to some of my guys who are trainers and anonymously having them try it out on some of their injured clients, just different PTs and stuff like that, just figuring it out. What does this thing do? Right. Got some research done up at Purdue and IU as well, and started dealing with prototypes. And for those who don't know what prototypes is whatever you have in your mind, put it together with whatever you got. Right? You got something laying around your house, if you can go to Walmart, whatever, and you can put together what you have in your head as closely as possible to what you got in your hand. Right? It can look like, no matter what it looks like, as long as it's close, that's a prototype. Right? And then the working prototype is actually building it and it works and it does the thing you have in your head. Right? So I was able to do that and started building some prototypes and working with individuals, and come to find out that the device did what I wanted it to do as far as unloading my knee. Let me tell you what I was trying to do, first of all. I was having a problem at the 90-degree angle. That's when you're sitting in the chair, because my knee was rubbing bone on bone at that angle. Okay. So I needed to put more tension on the joint protecting muscles, quadricep, glute, all of that. I needed extensive tension on those muscles to create more of a gap in my knee joint at 90 degrees. Right? If I can build those muscles up strong enough at that angle, it'll hold that gap open and allow me to move at that angle without it closing and scraping. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
So I thought about this system, and belt with bands going down to hold tension at all times through my entire gait and wherever I was in any angle, basically. And I was able to accomplish that. But that's not all it did. Come to find out, it also helped with preventing overcompensation. One of the biggest things with people with injuries on one side of their body, you start overcompensating. And now 9 times out of 10, you have a right knee issue, you're going to have the other knee's going to catch up. Then the hip back, because it's all connected. So found out that it prevented overcompensation. That's interesting. Also helped with balance. That's interesting. Then talked with a chiropractor, and come to find out it was helping to cause a posterior pelvic tilt. Didn't know what that was at the time, but that reduces some pressure off the lower lumbar.
Your back.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because it's wrapped around you here and it's challenging your core, it's working the core. Okay. So I'm literally going through the motions of figuring this thing out, building it, and then figuring out who I'm going to sell it to at the time. Right?
Yeah.
And I always thought about athletes like myself, but it became more older people, right? They would try my prototype and literally offer me, $300-400 for it. And this is some resistance bands, a squat belt, and some ankle braces. And you're gonna give me $400 for this?
I need to go manufacture 20,000 of these.
I'm still not believing it until money is in hand. People are paying for the thing, right? And I'm like, this is crazy, right? Just kept doing groundwork with it, and how I went through that process is a whole nother story, bro. We don't have enough time for what I went through to kind of get to a starting point, right? To actually, having some self-distribution. Right? But lo and behold, now I help a bunch of people 50 and older, prevent knee surgery and knee replacement. That's what I do now. Right?
With that particular device, or
well, with what I know as well.
What you know as well.
Okay. Yeah. So, what I found out in direct response, there's a game called direct response. Okay. And that's basically being able to market to an individual and get a response right then. Right? It's not like a billboard or any of that. It takes learning sales copy, how to write a certain way, how to sell with the written word, right? So you can send a person somewhere, have them read or watch something, and they make a decision right then.
Okay.
Right? So understanding that game, and as for me, I have a coaching company as well. So we coach seniors on how to prevent knee surgery and knee replacement.
Okay, you're talking seniors as an elder.
50 plus.
Okay.
50 plus is my
50
market.
plus.
Not really elderly senior, 50 plus.
Yeah.
50 to 70s.
Oh, yeah. I was just making sure it wasn't like seniors in high school. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Like seniors, yeah, 50 and up.
Okay.
And one thing that I found out is just like my basketball talent, one of the worst things that happened to me in my life was my knee injury, and the things that I learned from that became just as valuable as my basketball talent because people pay me for that information.
We're on the same page with that.
So the information and packaging that in a way, and then having the physical product as well. It's one thing to have those things, but then how do you distribute, right? Like I said, I'm a guy that wants control over everything. I want to control my own destiny.
Of course.
I don't depend on someone else to distribute. I went through retail and I went through all of that. I hate it. I'll never go through retail again and depend on that. So learning how to write copy, how to deal with advertisement, how to learn about CPAs and CPLs, cost per leads. All of this stuff is a whole different game, right? But it sort of gives you control of distribution of whatever it is that you're offering, right? And gives you a little bit more peace of mind and control from that standpoint, if that's making sense. So it's a rabbit hole, but it took a while, man.
I understand.
It took a while.
You know what's interesting is, I was in Indianapolis at the time where you were shopping it. And I actually seen one of your devices. I never put it on, but I actually seen it. And, I can just remember people talking about, Jonathan Bender is behind it. So, again, it's just good to put, that time with this particular situation. It's just good to know that, I always wondered exactly what happened. From a distribution standpoint, and if you ever really got it off the ground. But it's so good to hear you say that you're helping people in so many different ways with packaged information. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's more about helping people, man, and the more you help yourself.
Of course.
Right?
Yep.
I heard a saying that if you have information or if you have something you can help people with and you're not doing it, you're being selfish. most people think that I don't want to go selling stuff and stuff like that. But if you have information that you're not offering somebody that's going to change their lives, you're being selfish.
Of course. So
you got to take it. You got to take it that way.
That's real. What will be your advice to the youth, to people that's coming up that maybe, isn't as mentally tough or mentally strong as you were during your injury? What would be your advice to them that's trying to come up out of it, whether it's to play or whether it's to, live happily ever after? But, just the people that are in the sport right now that are experiencing an injury, what would be some of your advice?
I would say, first of all, figure out what you want. One thing I came to realize is that it was a time and place where I didn't know what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And I think most people are in that same position. They don't know what they want. They're just floating around, right? Well, if you don't know exactly what you want, nobody can help you. Like, you can meet all these great people. They don't know how to help you because you don't know what you want, right? Mm-hmm. So knowing exactly what you want and exactly where you want to go, I think is a huge deal. Mm-hmm. And when I mean knowing what you want, I mean from starting with money. Like, how much do you want, right?
Right, man. Right.
How much? Monthly, yearly? What's that number? Because that's going to direct you. Right, that's like the flashlight. Like, if you don't know that, you take anything or do anything.
Yeah.
Knowing how your family structure is going to be, materialistic stuff, just load it up on a paper and just look at it. And now, am I doing the right stuff right now to get me that? Because that's really all that matters. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what I would say. I know it's kind of weird, but it just flips a switch. You know what I mean? If you're down or in depression or anything like that from an injury, and you know what you want, then it comes, okay, I just got to rehab, get through this, do this, boom, 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 go out here and shine and do my thing. And okay, while I'm doing this, I need to make sure I got something else going on the side that I'm at least thinking about, because this alone is not going to get me what I wrote down right here.
There you go. That's important.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And
so,
just giving the map and the navigation to, like you said, what it is that you want, but not only that, understanding and learning how to budget and how to put numbers to what you may want in the future. Like, how do you do that? How do you create a plan with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like hustlers, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, go. It shouldn't be a situation where we're going in the NBA and we're earning like this, and then we just go all the way here. It should always be here, and then we transition and keep going here, right? That's just my thought process.
Yeah. Obviously, you done share so many different nuggets and told us so many different things, but, again, just resilience and overcoming things and making sure that you're in that space. Just give me a good shout to my people, to the people and the youth that's listening.
I would say to the youth, get some discipline, man. Don't run away from somebody cussing you out. Yeah. Everybody ain't cussing you out to down you. Okay, it's to get your attention. You need to be molded into a strong rock, bro, not a hard outcasing of clay that has nothing on the inside. So be moldable. Don't run away from things that are tough, and take the constructive criticism, bro. Take it and stay there, and be competitive, man. Quit running.
Right.
I hate people, bro. If you got to run from your team to another team,
right?
What are you doing? You're saying you can't beat the other dude out for the spot, so you're gonna run somewhere else. So I don't understand that.
Woo! That's a mouthful.
I don't get that.
Yeah, man. In today's climate, that's a golden nugget right there, for sure. Well, Jay, man, I cannot thank you enough for coming on, man. Obviously we're gonna be here for a long time, so maybe I'll have you on a couple more times. You got some, things that you want to share or say, you're more than welcome to join this platform at any time, my brother. Anytime.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Enjoy your weekend, man, and I'll talk to you. All right?
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
I'm a warrior. Anything you place in front of me, I'll be victorious.